We're staying in the reusing content.dwg file. And at the moment, what we've got is our hinge, our bolt, and our keyhole. And you'll notice that none of them are groups. They're just individual lines, arcs, circles, etc. And what we're going to look at is we're going to look at creating and inserting a block into our AutoCAD drawing. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put all of our objects on the screen onto the layer 0. So let's do that first. Select all of them. Go to the layer drop down and put them all on the default layer, layer 0, and then hit escape to deselect. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, why has he done that? Well, when you create blocks in AutoCAD, if you create them on layer 0, when you then insert them as blocks into your drawing, they automatically adopt the current drafting layer. So what I'm going to do now is make the current drafting layer hinge, that one there, like so. Now, the reason I'm making that hinge is because then what I can do is use these objects here on layer 0 to create a hinge block. Now, I can use the block panel here on the home tab on the ribbon, or you've also got on the insert tab on the ribbon, create block here as well. It's up to you which one you use. I personally prefer the home tab because then I've got things like draw, modify, and annotation available if I need them. So I'm going to go to the block panel on the home tab on the ribbon, and it's this little icon here, create block. Now, the name of the block obviously is going to be hinge, self-explanatory, and I need to pick a point on the block where I want it to be inserted in the drawing. So I go pick point, and I'm going to use that midpoint on the right-hand side because a hinge normally goes against the edge of something. So I'm going to use that midpoint snap there. And as you can see, there's no way I could have guessed those X and Y values. I'm now going to select the objects. So I click Select Objects, and I select all of the hinge like that, and just press Enter. And you can see you get a little preview. Now you'll notice there, can you see that those dash lines look like solid lines at the moment? That might just be the magnification of the preview, but sometimes it depends on what layer you're going on to and the properties of that layer. Remember our layer properties previously. Now we've got some options here for our objects. You can retain the original objects and make a block separately. You can convert the original objects to a block, or you can just delete. Now I'm going to convert to block, and you'll see how that block appears in the drawing. Now we don't want it to be an annotative block, but we do want to scale uniformly in the X and Y direction when we make it bigger or smaller. And also, my rule of thumb is always allow exploding, because you never know when you need to explode a block, make some slight changes, and create a slightly different similar block. Now, the block units in this case are millimeters. The drawing is a metric millimeters drawing, and we do not need to open in the block editor. So when I click on OK now, watch what happens on the screen. It's now yellow because it's adopted the hinge, the current layer. But if I click on it, it's now a block. It's all one object, and the grip there is the base point that I selected. So if I just hit escape now and hover over that, AutoCAD tells me it's a block reference on the layer hinge. So let's do the same with the bolt now. Let's go to here on the layer drop down, change that to the bolt layer. And again, I'm going to create a new block using the create block command. And I'm going to pick a point on the screen. This time I want the center there, so we'll use the center snap. Select the objects, select all of them for the bolt like so, right click or enter to confirm. I'm going to change it to convert to block again, scale uniformly, allow exploding, click on OK, and the name must be at least 1 character long. Notice I didn't put the name in. Always put the name in for a block. It cannot be blank. So that will be bolt, like so. Click on OK. And there's our bolt block. Click on it. There's the grip for the insertion point of the block. If I just deselect it by hitting escape and hover over it, you'll see it's a block reference on the layer bolt. Let's do the same with the keyhole. So we'll go to the keyhole layer now, and we'll just go create block. And this time we'll call it keyhole, remembering to put the name in this time. And we'll pick a point, and I'll go for, say, the center snap there on the keyhole. And select the objects. So we'll select everything, right click or enter to confirm, make sure that we've got scale uniformly, allow exploding ticked, everything looks good, click on OK, and when I select that now, you can see that that is now a block as well with a single insertion point grip. So that's how quick and easy it is to reuse content. Now the trick is as well, if I go to insert a block now, using the block panel, there's my hinge, bolt or keyhole. So if I select keyhole now, I can add a new keyhole to the drawing, and it's another incidence of that particular block reference in my AutoCAD drawing. So I'm now reusing content over and over again, and it saves me having to draw that keyhole all over again.